Welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. This program is for educational purposes only. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual sharing their testimony. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach. Welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. This program is for educational purposes only. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual sharing their testimony. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. My name is Becca Dukes, and welcome. Let's go ahead and open up that waiting room, let people in. And folks, if you are watching us on any platform other than in Zoom, you are welcome to join us here in Zoom Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays from 12 to 1 p.m. Pacific time by going to zoom.dailywithdoc.com. Again, that's Zoom, ZOOM.dailywithdoc.com, Monday, Thursdays, and Fridays. My name is Becca Dukes, and as a hostess of this program, I am excited to be able to share with you empowering information. Folks, there's so many things that are trying to take our power away from us. But on this show, we share empowering information that allows you to make more informed and educated decisions when it comes to things that affect you in life, including your health. So today, I'm super excited to have a dear friend of mine for many, many years, and she is going to be sharing some things that we haven't talked about really on this program before. So I'm excited. Hope you are tuned in, ready to take notes, because it's going to be a great show. Now, for those of you who were referred to this program by somebody specific, make sure that you get back with them. They took the time and cared enough about you to share this program with you. So get back with them, tell them thank you, and most of all, tell them what you liked best about this program. If you're out on any platforms, make sure that you subscribe, follow us, and put in the comments where you're joining us from. We love to see where we are reaching, and this is an investment into your health. So well done on taking this little time to invest in yourself. Now, today we have with us Kasondra McCormick. Now, Kasondra and I go back really far, many, many years, more than a decade. And she and I have been on an amazing journey together. She was actually with me at my worst when it came to my health. And as a functional medicine practitioner, she was there helping me on this journey. Now, she is a pioneering entrepreneur and health advocate with over 3 decades of experience in longevity, wellness, and aging care. Her expertise spans nutrition, movement, functional medicine, and neurodegenerative research, blending technology and scientific rigor with compassionate education and support. Currently, as the public relations and creative director at neuralstack.ai, she is building a hub for caregiver empowerment, advocacy, and personalized education. Her career has been defined by guiding families and caregivers through the complexities of aging with innovation, interdisciplinary strategies, and are those that deliver tailored solutions for diverse health challenges and overall well-being. Her visionary leadership bridges cutting-edge science with accessibility, human-centered care, and human-centered care globally. So, folks, it is my honor and privilege to welcome to the screen with me my dear friend, mentor, and just all around amazing individual, folks, as she is like the researcher I always dreamed of being. And today she's going to share with us stuff about the limbic system. So, Kasondra, welcome to Daily with Doc. I am so excited to have you here with us, as you have so much knowledge and passion. I mean, passion is something that you have overflowing for helping people. So thank you for coming on Daily with Doc with us.
Becca, thank you so much for having me. This is really an auspicious moment for you and I to be on the show today and talking about something that's super dear to our heart. And it's been a lifelong journey for both of us. And we've walked the road together. And as much compassion and joy I have in serving others, look at what you're doing here for just all of the listeners. You're reaching the globe, the globe. And it's just so beautiful. It's so beautiful. And what a joy and a pleasure to be here with everyone. Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. It's definitely a dear part of my heart to help people find what I found that was the many missing pieces to helping me create a U-turn in my health journey that then was just an amazing revolution as to what the body can actually do.
I absolutely agree. And same on our journey, there are 2 separate ends of the spectrum, right? And there's so many facets of health and needs, because you look at a person and you just expect that, oh, they need this, and this other person, oh, well, you look, quote, normal, and you must be fine. And then once you really, like a car, you get under the hood and you realize that the internal structure, which is what we're going to talk about today, it really is creating this dysfunction in between the covers of the book.
Absolutely. So let's go into, and I hear a little bit of reverb here. It's just looks like everybody else's mic is off, so fantastic. But Kasondra, let's talk about the limbic system. What is the limbic system?
So I'm going to read the long version, and then we'll try to keep it as simple as possible. So the limbic system is the emotional center of the brain. It regulates emotions, memory, and stress responses. It impacts various bodily functions and overall health. Functional medicine practitioners focus on optimizing the limbic system function through lifestyle changes, nutrition, and stress management to address conditions like anxiety, depression, and chronic inflammation. So it sounds like a tricky word. And then once you start really listening to the body's responses and some of the symptoms that we have of that, it makes more sense. So the job of functional medicine is to really take this something super complicated and turn it into things that we can break down, use, and make sense of very easily.
And as we're breaking this down, when you say limbic system, where is it located?
So in the brain, my very favorite place. So, and it is the place of such mystery to everyone. So I think there are so many facets that you can go, but you really can make it simple. So within the brain, you can break it down really easily. And so if I can give a little diagram really quick of the brain and give a visual. So we have these areas of our brain called the hippocampus, the amygdala, the hypothalamus, the thalamus, and basal ganglia. And everybody hears all these words and they understand a little bit of it, but that doesn't really give us enough information about how to start putting these pieces of the puzzle together. So let's start with the hippocampus. So if you can put your hands over your ears and take two fingers and walk them forward and pretend you have this little seahorse in your head. And it's a little seahorse, kind of like the shape of your ears. So that's right here at your temporal lobe. There's a little seahorse in there that's called the hippocampus. And then right underneath that is the amygdala, and it looks like an almond. So you've got a little almond in there. And then if you go a little bit deeper into the brain, you have this small pea-sized structure. So we're getting fruits and vegetables and creatures in our brain, right? There's this little pea size next to the brainstem, and it's the hypothalamus. And then right in the middle, deep, deep inside, you've got this hub of sensory processing here that is the hypothalamus and the thalamus. And then if you just pretend you have like a little halo inside, you've got a little halo in there called the basal ganglia, and this is a ring-like structure, and it is sending all of those signal responses inside your brain. So if you can break down the brain into sea creatures and vegetables and fruits and nuts and all those proteins, it's a little more fun. So.
Just a side note, I remember when you started really digging into the brain and all the different things you were doing, and I'm like,
it's very complicated.
It was so complicated. So thank you so much for that more simplistic diagram and illustration of where everything is. So how can our listeners visualize the limbic system's location? You just went over that. And let's go through the structures that make up the limbic system. So the hippocampus.
Yeah, that little sea creature, the seahorse. So go back to right here above your ears. What's happening here is this is the memory center, and this is helping you form new memories. So think about, we'll go a little bit later on, but what I want you to think about is there's trauma and emotion, and maybe you've been in a car accident, or maybe you had an accident when you were in gymnastics or playing ball and you got hit in the head. And your memory is slipping a little bit, right? Think about, did you get hit right here, right on the sides of your head? Or did you, bump older adults, right? They might fall and you bump on the side of the table, right? So these are where the memories are formed, right here. And then we go into the amygdala, that little almond. As small as it is, think about the almond and how nutritious it is. It is processing those emotions, and it is interpreting your social surroundings. So that teeny tiny little thing is observing your emotions and your social environment. Now you go deep inside around the back here, back into your sensory area, and we start talking about things like hormones and sleep and mood and appetite and thirst and hunger. And then you get into the hypothalamus. Oh, sorry.
Okay, so the hormones, the sleep, the mood, the hunger, and thirst, that's part of the hypothalamus?
That is part of the hypothalamus, yes.
But its function is, anyways.
It is functioning, triggering those. Now, all of them are working together, right? Mm-hmm. But each, just like your hands have a job, your nose has your eyes and your ears, each one of these has a specific job, and then they're communicating to each other, and then we're bringing it all together to create this non-wobbly thing that walks down the sidewalk without falling on the ground, right? And right. It's sending all of these signals, it's sending all these signals, and somehow we're sitting here today just talking like, you can't even fathom how many things that your body is doing just for you to sit here and communicate. It is just fascinating to me. It is just really fascinating. So the thalamus, we are talking about sensory and motor skills, again, linked to memory and about planning. And there's this big conversation. If you can look at the sky above me, this picture, we're starting to talk about consciousness and our connection to nature and the environment and all those sensory things that are out there, like energy, that somebody walks in the room. Ooh, what is that? Right? We've got good energy. We've got bad energy. We're going to talk later about that gut feeling. All those things are right there. And then the basal ganglia is control over habits and cognitive function and emotional regulation. So we've got lots going on upstairs, lots going on upstairs.
Well, then, and to have it compartmentalized, it's not just a brain with two hemispheres and these different parts. Every part has its function.
Yeah.
So
it's extraordinary, right? Because you can't see in there, and it's such a mystery. But if we can break it down to in the way that we talk every day, all of your listeners here, we're talking about nutrition and diet and lifestyle, and how does that affect our thinking and our ability to regulate our emotions and not be freaking out before you get on the show with your best friend, right? Just that anxiety or changes. We always talk about we're supposed to be calm. But how can we be calm, and how can we make good decisions for ourselves and our health and our future and our family and all of those who depend on us and all those that we love if we don't understand our body, which is, what this amazing program is all about.
Yes, absolutely. So how does the limbic system influence my daily life?
Yep. And I think that's a really great transition, right? Like how does your daily life get impacted by all of these different things swirling around in your head? And so I'm going to give you the clinical answer first, and then we'll dig into it a little bit. The limbic system is involved in behavioral and emotional responses, crucial for survival. When impaired, it can lead to imbalances such as stress, trauma, inflammation, and mood disorders.
Okay, that's clinical.
Very clinical, but very, these are things that people are dealing with every day. Mm-hmm. Right? Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So how does dysfunction manifest?
So, and how do we get to where we are today on this wonderful program? We usually end up here because we have some kind of dysfunction, right? Yeah. We talked about sharing our journey and two completely different journeys, but yet we have one body, same blood chemistry, same body parts, just and so many different aspects of that. And right, so if you talk about all those little seahorses and fruits and vegetables going on in your head, they turn into mental health issues like anxiety and depression and PTSD. So all of these chronic conditions, everybody struggles with depression at some point. And then you get into circumstances where you really can have PTSD and, anxiety. I think the average person deals with some mild form of anxiety on a daily level. Then we get into the physical aspects. Now we're starting to see chronic pain, we see inflammation, and we see digestive issues like sensitivities or chronic inflammation of the gut that takes such a long time to heal. It takes decades sometimes to really get those things in balance. And it is the biggest challenge, I would say, is really getting your gut health under control. I truly believe that that's one of our biggest challenges. And then what happens out of that? Now we've got anxiety, we have chronic pain, we've got inflammation, we have digestion. Who isn't dealing with that, right? I mean, just everybody. And then on top of that, now your emotional regulation response system is triggered, and we're having all of these responses where we're upset and we're really trying to regulate our moods, and you're just swinging through so many different emotions and trying to keep it all together, right? It becomes very, very difficult the further out you get in, and then rebuilding those, I call them, the building blocks, rebuilding those in a specific form, in a specific fashion. So again, everything you guys talk about every day. Sorry, I got off on a tangent there. Big deal.
No tangent at all. It all just fits and flows. And, because that chronic pain, that inflammation, that digestive issues, I mean, digestion is one of the things we work on first because of its link to mental illness or wellness.
Yep. And we're going to talk about some of those therapies. And I would say the long road is gut health that leads to that mental wellness. What we're going to talk about next is we found some cheat codes, if you will. My kids like to play Fortnite, and they're always looking up the cheat codes. So in that enormous amount of research that I do, I think the biggest challenge I found with my clients was they lose their steam because it takes so long to heal the body. And you would say, you know, the blood takes 90 days to rebuild. You've got 120 days. And in 120 days, we might see our blood work change. Well, woohoo, right? Who wants to wait 120 days to feel better? We want something that's going to make us feel better right now. So we've created or found and researched all these different modalities and all these different things because we're looking for that gratification, right? We need to feel a little bit better right now in order to take the long road, which is a lifelong journey of health. There's no pill that just makes us magically feel better every day. It's a myriad of different things specifically for you. The blood chemistries, it's numbers are numbers, atoms are atoms, but you need to understand who you are in your individual approach so that you can get to your optimum wellness. And everyone here together holding hands and sharing stories on their journey gives us the tools to be able to lock arms in community and walk this journey, because it's harder every day to be healthy because of all of the exposures and the trauma and the stress and the expectations. And the world is just moving so fast now that we have to do this all together. So the more tools and tricks that we have in our toolbox, the healthier we're going to be together. So again, another tangent. So here are some of my tools and tricks and trades, and I know that you and I have shared them. I'm a big proponent of, so it's called an EMDR. What that really means is eye movements. And there are specific eye movements that you can do that, and how about if we just do one with everybody right now? And your eyes and the movement in your eyes actually trigger every single system in your body. So, and it's severely unused. So let's just pause for a second and we'll do some eye movements. Now, I want everyone to make sure, do not do these eye movements if you're driving a car. Don't do it if you're walking. And make sure that you're seated and you're stable before you do these eye movements, because they can create imbalance, right? You have to do these things right. So what you're going to do is take your fingers and you're going to start at the top of your nose. And let's just do one side first. And you pick, because my right's your left. So you're just going to start at the top and just with your finger, go all the way around the top of your eyebrow and circle your eye, and then come right back in, right to center. And then start at the top and do the other side, all the way across the eyebrow, the top here, come up and around and back to center right here. Now we're going to do them together. So take both.
Now, are we having our eyes follow? Is that what we're doing?
No,
Okay.
not even yet. So this is a great practice, especially if somebody has, I know we have our fingers over our eyes right now, but if somebody has vertigo, right? If somebody has vertigo, you know, it's okay just to use your fingers and not move your eyes yet. So we're going to take them both together. So over your eyebrows, all the way down and back around and here. Okay, so this is the movement that you want to do you're going to bring your right brain, right? We're talking to our right brain, and then we're talking to our left brain individually, and then doing it together just in your mind's eye, right? We're talking to our right brain and our left eye and left brain together. So that's a really great way to just, if you want to take a pause and just reconnect right brain and left brain. Then the next one, you're going to come back to center. Okay. And then you're going to go all the way out to the corner. And then you're going to come all the way across to the bottom, lower bottom. Okay, and then come back to center. Same thing on the other side. You're going to come all the way out to the end and then come all the way across down to the bottom and then back to center.
Now, are we supposed to be following with our eyes this time?
You can do it with your mind's eye. It's absolutely okay just to do it with your mind's eye. And when you cross over, think about your brain. You're starting at the top of your brain and you're coming over and talking to the lower end of your back brain here. So we're connecting the right and the left. And then we're going to go over here, and you can do this with your fingers, right? All you have to do is initiate with touch, and it will trigger. And if you're feeling a little discombobulated or you're a little stressed, you just need to get back to center. That's a great way. And then you're going to start doing that with your eye movement, and then try to do them together. And that will recenter and realign right brain and left brain. So eye movements, and this is Dr. Carrick has an amazing master's program in Florida for many decades. Just with this eye movement, he's had amazing miracles. So there's a lot of work there, but you can do it very simply. The next thing is music therapy. And we have a lot of deep conversations about music therapy. So very healing. And this will take you back to the sky above, right? This gets us into our consciousness. This gets us into the energy of our environment and the vibration. We are how much water?
About 90%.
Exactly. We are mostly water. So if you start moving that energy and bringing positive energy, there are these amazing research on water now that are just fabulous. Dr. Emoto was doing water crystals, and in his research a long time ago, and I've been a student for many years of this, terrible music, just bad words on a piece of paper, on a cup, changes the pH of water. So important to have a healthy, and here's what I would say about the trauma. Sometimes we don't have a healthy environment that we're in right now. And sometimes we also we can't do kumbaya, right? Right? That's just not our life. And there's not a way. So what do? We turn on the music. We do the eye movements, right? The next thing that we do, we talk about nutrition. Here's where the rubber meets the road. It really is, because you can do eye movements all day long and you can have a change. You can do music therapy all day long, and yeah, it kind of changes your sensory a little bit. But if we don't have all these things together, and if you don't have the foundation, which is nutrients, it's a Band-Aid. It really is a Band-Aid. And this is where the building blocks come in. And this is where we start talking about the gut brain, right? How is the nutrition that we're putting in our bodies, good, bad, and different, is affecting our mind, and it is affecting our emotions, and it just affects our world. And so, and here we're talking about the vagus nerve, that freeway, right? We have a freeway, we have a highway, super bullet train from our gut to our brain, and whatever goes in here, it's going right back up to our brain. Sometimes we won't we will not derail on epigenetics at all, because that is a whole talk on its own. However, everyone needs to understand that your DNA, it's super important. If you are struggling with nutrients and you feel like you're doing and this is my story, I was doing everything right. I had organic floors, organic beds, I had organic socks. I was doing everything right. And I was just as sick as Rebecca. I was just as frail to the point where I couldn't walk. And I knew all these things. I was trained in functional medicine. I was trained in Chinese medicine at this point. I was doing everything right. And I was still at my worst. And so making sure that you understand and getting to a professional who understands how your body reads nutrients is really, really important, because you may have a genetic SNP there. You can take vitamin D all day long. Your numbers aren't going to change if you have a vitamin D SNP. And you need to understand how all those nutrients in the wheel work together, because we have to trick the body into absorbing those nutrients by reading a different nutrient. So it's super important to have a professional who understands that, because we want to be our optimum health, but if we don't understand our epigenetics, that's a really important piece. So I will stop right there on the epigenetics part. The other part is,
before you move on though, that's where cofactors are so important too.
It is, yes, but how do you, right? Again, getting with a professional and getting with somebody who's trained and understands how to utilize those cofactors, right? Because you can take omega-3s and you can take fish oil, and if you don't have a cofactor, all of a sudden you're creating more inflammation in your body sometimes. So it's really important to understand how all these things work together. So you're not going to terribly harm yourself if you continue taking, omega-3s, right, without a cofactor. It's okay. But if you want to get to optimum health and you want to break some of those barriers, you've got to get with a professional or somebody who's highly trained and understands these things, so that you can get to that, you can break that barrier. Like, you might be just feel like you're banging your head against the wall and you just can't get to that next level. It may be something as simple as a cofactor. It really could be something that simple. So thank you for saying that. Yes. So yeah, I was going to say, I have a little note here about Dr. Ben last week was talking about processed foods and sugars and artificial sweeteners, and definitely all the things to avoid. I have on here excess caffeine. I learned how to trick my body, and I love coffee. So,
so all you coffee drinkers,
it's okay. It's okay. It's really okay. So yes, so we have lifestyle interventions, and this is where the profound difference that your community is making here is really in lifestyle. And like I said before, you can't always change your lifestyle. You can't. We're taking care of loved ones, right? We have aging parents, we have disabled children, we have our own health, we have responsibilities in life. And I think that was one of my biggest fights before, I guess before I found the cheat codes, as I like to use them, because I always thought that you were supposed to get to this place of enlightenment, and that meant that it was kumbaya and everything was easy and there was no stress. And I was beating myself up because I just wasn't getting it right. I just thought I was doing something wrong, because how come I don't have, how come everything is messy? How come everything just like stressors come? Why isn't this working for me? And when I finally debunked that theory and said, how do I use these tools in my toolbox? Because stress is always going to come. Somebody's going to get ill. Somebody's going to need to be taken care of. Somebody's going to fall down and bump their knee and need a Band-Aid. it's always going to happen. We're human, and this is life. And this is part of our journey. So once I started using these quote tools in the toolbox, and then having the community and not hiding in my little corner and trying to be Miss Perfect, like I've got all my you know what together. And I realized that I can just be me, and it's okay to just be me, like all of it. It's okay, because guess what? The person next to me, they're feeling the same thing, trying to be perfect, and I don't want to talk about my crap, and I don't really well. I have a stomach ache. My kids are, whatever, and my mom and dad are whatever, and my neighbors, whatever. So is everyone else. So we come to this community, we take an hour out of our day, and we just say, I'm making an intention in my lifestyle to find some form of exercise, whether it's sitting in a chair, moving my fingers, wiggling my toes, walking, whatever you're capable of doing, wiggle, right? Whatever you can do, turn on the music and get in here with this lovely community that is all over the globe through this lovely piece of technology called Zoom, everywhere at our fingertips. Even if you're in your car, it doesn't matter. You can still listen and still warm your heart and still feel like you're in community. And also self. We have to figure out how to find, even if it's in the shower, self. Just draw into your center, your garden inside of you. You cannot take care of anyone else until you take care of you. And we all know this in theory, but it just 5 minutes. Just if, again, another little, we'll stop and pause. I found another trick. So if you just think about planting a seed, and right here in the center of your chest here, just pretend there's a little seed. You've planted a seed, and your mind automatically just goes right to that seed. And I had a woman the other day say, I do not have a green thumb. I can't grow anything. And I said, well, what is the love of your life? And she said, it's my children. I said, then just put your children right here. Whatever that is. I have a cute little white fuzzy Bichon who I adore. Just put your little Bichon right here. Whatever warms your heart right here. Just think about that right here. And it's going to be a teeny tiny little seed. And if you keep just every day, just remember that seed right there. And all of a sudden it will grow just a little bit every day. It'll just start growing. And all of a sudden you're going to want to spend more time thinking about that seed, because it's starting to fill you back up, and it's starting to give you joy, and it's starting to warm your insides, and it starts creating a love and a want to be able to give out again. So just that simple little tool that I found, I'm always about tricks. Just how can I reconnect my mind with my body? So, and sleep. I was that person. I was that person that only needed like 3-4 hours of sleep. And I was just go all the time.
You were.
I was. Guess what happened?
Bedridden, and you were always coming to see me, making sure I had what I needed, just non-stop. And then from me, you go to your next client, and then the next client, and the next client, and then you rotate back over to me. You were just go.
Yep. And guess what happened?
It caught up with you.
3 years ago. No, actually, believe it or not. So I had to unravel another mystery about self. I had a hysterectomy 3 years ago. I had 760 grams of tumors. Now, what I will say is I was very proud. So I used all my tools, right? I used all my tools. I went into the doctor. I'm like, here's what I need to do. I need to be on a plane next week. And this is what has to happen. So I do acupuncture. I do my IV nutrients. I get myself totally ready. We go in, we do the, they made me stay overnight just so that I would stay in bed for one day. The very next day, I went and I did my acupuncture. I walked 5 miles the next day on the third day. The fourth day, I took a break. I went and did my IV nutrients again. And then the fifth day, I went back to work. If you use the tools and healthy, right? If you use the tools, that's what worked for me. That's what worked for me. And my entire life changed in that instance. All those things in the brain, all those hormone things, woo! All my tools, all my nutrients, all my everything out the window, and I had to start all over again. Because guess what? I had a whole new me, and it didn't respond to the old me. And I don't move as fast. I have one project, maybe 2 projects instead of 15. And I went through depression because I had to figure out a new version of me. And so even though I had all these tools in my toolbox, I had to dig really, really deep to find a new version of myself and have acceptance of the new Kasondra. And everybody knows me, like you said, the old way, right? She does not exist anymore. And it's taken me 3 years to come to peace with that. And I've been down some really deep paths with that because you don't have the hormone regulation, the nutrients don't work right. It's a dark journey. It's a dark journey having a death version of you and exploring and having an opportunity to have another version of you. And also the acceptance of the new version of you when everyone else has this expectation of who you used to be. And it's, again, going back to this community and going back to self, going right back here to this seed. Who cares? Who cares what everyone else's version is about you? Who cares? The only thing that matters is that you are doing you. And you have to be the best version of you for this thing up here, because you have to live in this body and you have to have this mind for the entire time that you are here. And if you don't have a platform like this, right, you have to get it. You have to get it because self-acceptance only goes so far. And then you have to jump into community and you have to start expressing, that new version of you and come into the becoming. Come in and what happened? Where are we? Right here today. Look at this.
Yep.
Right? I mean, this is like this is my new version of Kasondra, which nobody else here knows except for you, right? That this is a whole new me. So
Well,
still trying to be in acceptance.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, so we do have a couple questions.
Yeah,
Ready for a question?
yeah, sure.
So Julio wants to know, is Alzheimer's due to the ganglial system not working properly? Um,
That's a great question. And I wish I could say yes or no. It's a very complex issue because, yeah.
and he has another part of it. Is
Mhm.
it because of external things or adverse reactions to medications?
How about if we go back to the epigenetics? I think it really, if you think about the epigenetics piece, and I'll try to be really quick about it. If you think about your family, if you're adopted, you're not going to know, right? You're just going to have your own signs and symptoms. But if you have heart issues in your family, or you have excess mucus, right? You have lots of mucus issues, or lung issues, or asthma. That's what's going to happen as you walk down that journey. Um, there's so many. Again, that's a whole nother tangent. If you have family members who struggled with memory, if you have had a traumatic brain injury, if you are, I'll, I had, believe it or not, I know you know this, but I was 32 years old and I had early onset Alzheimer's. I almost burned down my house 3 times when I was 32.
Hmm.
I've had a stroke 7 years later. I had traumatic brain injury though. I was in a terrible car accident and I had 12 staples on the top of my head. And if you have emotional stress, if you have a challenging relationship in your life, I remember a professor coming one day and he just like scratched class and started this conversation about having a stressful relationship and how it damages your blood chemistry and it damages your cells. It's the tissue is breaking down in your body. So important. All of the things that I talk about brain health are crazy. There are so many things to do. The nutrition's important. Stress, limiting your stress or using these tools, doing the eye movements, super important, because you know what you're doing? That's like the jungle gym. It's like doing dumbbell weights for each area of your brain. Those eye movements are, if you could do one thing without getting too complicated, or if you could do one thing, do those eye movements, because it's like working out, and it will make, if you get cranky or tired or fatigued, that'll tell you that you are having some challenges within a region of your brain. And you need to pay attention to those things. Super important.
Absolutely. And Primjit says, I was in a car accident 5 years ago. I'm still not better. I have anxiety, digestion issues, etc. Living in Toronto. She wants to know, where can I get help?
I will share with you one of the things we didn't talk about on here that has been really, I added prolotherapy to my regimen, and that was a lifesaver for me. Again, I was life flighted out. I had several areas broken in my body, plus this brain injury. Prolotherapy was a game changer for me personally. I had all these tools, but the thing that got me back on my horse for real was prolotherapy, because the ligaments and the tissues, the blood flow is really slow to those areas. And for your structure and for movement, and for chronic pain and fibromyalgia, like you just have pain everywhere. Sometimes it's really deep in the ligaments and tendons, and we really need to go in a little bit deeper and do some deeper healing. So I'll leave that right there, but I highly recommend that.
No, that does not place of supplementation though, and
No,
nutrition.
yes, all together. Again, stacking depends on who you are. And there are supplements for ligaments and tendons, but because the blood moves so slow, you may be in an acute type of situation that might need something a little bit more like a car accident. It's acute. And then you use those, your supplements, that's your lifetime regimen.
Yeah. Well, we are out of time.
Oh my gosh.
Top of the hour almost. I want to make sure that we get you out of here on time. And if I could get the co-hosts on. Kasondra, thank you so much for coming on and sharing with us today. I know we didn't get through everything, so you're going to have to come back. Simple.
We could have done my notes. We could have done a whole weekend retreat.
Absolutely. So I look forward to having you back on here with us on Daily with Doc and Becca. You are just a wealth of information through your research, through your life. And each of us have had our own journey, folks. And we are unique individuals where, yes, we're made up of and come from the dust of the earth. We're made up of some of the same things. But because of how what we've experienced through life, things that have been dealt to us in life, there's different tweaks that may be needed in order to help you create that optimal life. And today we had some people asking about the limbic system, and the first person that came to my mind was my dear friend Kasondra McCormick. Folks, let's give it up for her. Thank you so much.
And we look forward to having
How do you spell
on
tweak,
again.
James? Is that T?
Marilyn, tweak, TWEAK.
Could be twerk.
Awesome. So we have on with us Ruth Ellen Sanchez, my executive production manager, keeps us all in line, keeps everything on task in order. Thank you so much, Ruth Ellen. We have Marilyn and James. Thank you, James. As she's doing dictation and taking great notes in the chat. So I hope that you are able to follow along with that, do some screenshots of the things that caught your interest most. Thank you, Marilyn. We have Phyllis, who's adding to those notes as well and keeping an eye out on the different social media platforms. Thank you so much, Phyllis. We have Albert letting people in. And do we have somebody else? Oh, yes, we do. I just had to expand my screen. So thank you, Albert, for letting people in as he is joining us from South Africa, which has extended our community to even further around the world. We have Rod as he's helping to keep an eye on things and out on the different platforms. Thank you so much, Rod, for all that you do as well. And we have Kaylee, who is our social media manager and helping to get more awareness out through social media. So thank you so much, Kaylee. And in the background, we have AJ as well as our digital marketing manager or director, whichever one you want to use. Folks, thank you so much for taking the time and investing in yourself. You know, knowledge is power, but it's action on that knowledge that really is the power. So we hope that you'll take bits and pieces from today's program, especially those tools that were shared to help recenter your brain. If you've got some self-care issues, like not feeling great about yourself, remember that little seed and feed that little seed so that it can bloom and just grow within you, because as you have that growing within you, it's beaming out from you, and that beam from you may be what helps somebody else find something to be thankful for. So as we are so thankful and have so much gratitude in this day, we just want to say thank you to all of you for taking this time. And again, Kasondra, thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me. What a beautiful opportunity to meet your community. Thank you.
Well, thank you for being part of this community. And folks, if you would like to be part of a community, get back with the person that shared this program with you and say, hey, how can I be part of your community? How can I learn more about what you do? Because that person may be one of our amazing certified holistic health coaches, our health advocates, a distributor that from longevity that just cares about helping people find that better health journey. And if you'd like to know more about becoming a certified holistic health coach, go to coach.dailywithdoc.com. Again, that's coach.dailywithdoc.com. Or if somebody referred you, you're going to talk to them about it first. If they don't know anything about it, then go to coach.dailywithdoc.com. Bruce out in YouTube says, Kasondra, please come back. Thank you. Thank you. Nancy says, thank you. And we've got more that I even missed. So everybody have a fantastic weekend. We will see you next Wednesday here on Daily with Doc and Becca. Go to dailywithdoc.com. You'll find replays of some of our past programming, including articles to help you add more things to your toolbox that can then help you find that better health journey. There is a store there that's available for those that are not already working with somebody. And if you are not working with somebody and you would like to get a free 15-minute consultation, go ahead and give us a call at 855-949-3377. Get connected with a certified holistic health coach today. And again, that's for people that have not tried the longevity products and are not already working with somebody or referred to this program by somebody. Also on our website, make sure that you sign up for the newsletter so that you don't miss an episode, or we have many things coming, and share this program with somebody else. You can find us on YouTube. Do a search for Daily with Doc and Becca on YouTube, on Rumble, Twitter, Instagram, X, I guess Twitter's now X, Patreon, Brighteon. Folks, we want to meet people where they're at. So please share us and help somebody else find some light in their life to a better health journey. Until next time, bye for now. Welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. This program is for educational purposes only. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual sharing their testimony. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel